Our customers, when I travel around the world and I talk to our customers, it is clear that there's still dramatic areas of improvement needed both in the project phase and the operations phase. This messaging is pretty consistent with what you've seen from us over the last few years, where we've talked about our project certainty and operational certainty initiatives. But whether it is schedules or cost, or it's production reliability, safety, energy, and emissions across the operations phase, there's somewhere between $500 billion to $1 trillion in those different phases of opportunity for improvement. Our customers, this resonates with them. When we talk to them, they say, we absolutely see this. We see it. In fact, some will say that the project phase is still in crisis in many ways. The operational aspect of this is an area that's getting increased attention due to all the discussion around IIoT. Let's talk about IoT. There's a lot of buzzwords used. IoT, digital transformation. You'll often hear us talk about digital transformation because we believe that some digital transformations aren't necessarily IoT applications, but the IoT terminology is used quite a bit. So we wanted to survey our customers and find out, how do we take a buzzword and turn it into something tangible that folks could implement? And when we asked them about IoT, they said, what are the biggest challenges to improving operational efficiency and adopting some of these technologies? They said, company culture, lack of a clear business strategy, and the difficulty of knowing which technologies to implement to get the most measurable results. Notice the first two of those didn't have anything to do with technology. And as we talked about at Emerson Exchange, many of you were there, I recognize the faces. It's people, process, and technologies that we must impact in order to make these solutions easier for our customers to implement. The good news for us as a vendor in this space is that when we ask them which of the areas do they see the biggest ROI coming from in IoT, there are two types of responses: were automation and training and competency development. So we play a huge role in impacting the ROI in this space that many of our customers are interested in as a tool and a part of operational efficiency improvements that are trying to drive. It's not the only aspect, but it's an increasingly important aspect of the equation. And many of the folks, as you can see, 57% of the people leading these projects are in operations or engineering. We are bridging the divide between IT/OT folks within our customer base. We're trying to do that with our technologies and our services. A lot of the folks, though, that are working on these projects today are normal existing customers that we've worked with for decades. So the problems we're solving, and it has a huge impact. And it's at the white-hot center of the IoT discussion. Why are these strategies and technologies not being implemented at a more frequent rate? Well, we still have a lot of barriers to achieve top quartile performance. Accommodating change is still too difficult. Work practices are still misaligned. In many cases, our customers have absorbed all these new technologies. They have a lot more data than they ever had, but they've not changed any of the work practices to be able to take advantage of that data, or the data is not usable. There's too little of it in some cases. Most of our customers say there's too much data. There's not enough useful information. And in many cases it's stranded, and the reason it's stranded is that it's often on disparate systems. They're not systems that talk well with each other. It's difficult to get the data off of those systems, aggregated to a place where you can see them and take actionable, effective decisions to impact the efficiency of your operations. And we know that there's skill gap challenges in the industry. I think we've been talking about that for some time. There's demographic reasons for that. Also, the pace of technology has increased. So we have to help upskill our capabilities and our customers' capabilities to use these tools and processes. And then everything we now do, cybersecurity and overall security, is at the heart of it. So if we want to go tackle these big industry problems, we have to break down these barriers. So today we're going to talk about our next version of our control system. We're going to talk about this performance services capability that we've been building out and the alliance with AspenTech in the context of breaking these barriers down, because it's not just about technology. It's not just about lines of code, very important. But how did you write those lines in code to develop the technology to make it more flexible so that it's integrated by design, so that our customers don't have to deal with all these disparate systems and solutions to try to get the value out of them? How do we therefore create better lifecycle value? Because the hardware, the software, the services that we offer allow you a better lifecycle experience. This is a very critical thing to our customers. You know, a lot of the information that is in a control environment, customers still want air-gapped, or in a black box, if you will. But now increasingly when we talk about IoT, they want to be able to extract parts of that data set to use for different applications and offerings. So we have to be flexible in that we keep data secure, but we also create ways to communicate certain data sets out into other parts of the ecosystem in order to deliver different applications. We try to find that balance. Skilled workforce. There's a training component to this. There's building tools like simulation, which will help you do training more effectively. But in some cases, our customers will tell us, I don't necessarily want to have that skill set in-house. I would rather you be the expert and that expertise be on demand. So in some cases, I want to be upskilled. In other cases, I want it easier to consume your expertise when I need that to optimize my plant performance or my site performance. Mobile in the sense that people want to see the data in the palm of their hands or at a workstation or at a different medium without having to go redesign the technology to deliver that experience. They want it to be portable. They want it to be agnostic to the medium that they're using to see the information. And everything we do must take security into account. So the first thing we're going to do is Dave's going to come up and he's going to talk to you about specifically our next version of Delta V, version 14, and how we design version 14 with these things in mind. Then I will come back and speak to you about performance services and the alliance that we just announced this morning. Dave?
All right. Thanks, Jamie. And as Jamie just talked about, we need to create these capabilities in the system to address the barriers to top quartile performance. And as we looked at that, to achieve these capabilities, it required going back and making investments and enhancements at every layer of the system, from the I/O to the controller, the communications layer, as well as the HMI and the enterprise layer. And we need to do this within a cybersecurity framework. Because of the climate and environment in today's world, everything we do, we have to start with making things incredibly cyber secure. So that's always the first starting point in everything that we do. Now, Delta V version 14 has over 34 programs in this release, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to talk about some of the big hitters here, starting first with the Delta V CHARMS I/O block. Now, many of you are familiar with our electronic marshaling and CHARMS concept or technology we came out with a few years ago, and this just takes us to the next level of capabilities. We found that CHARMS I/O was great in the I/O rack room to get rid of marshaling cabinets, but what we found is that by putting CHARMS cabinets out in the field, we could reduce field wiring, cable trays, and diagrams and documentation, replaced just with one Ethernet cable going back to the control system. So with distributed CHARMS, we came out with the CHARMS I/O block, which is just 12 CHARMS, and you can distribute 8 of those 12 CHARM boxes back to one gateway, and again, replacing more field wiring with just an Ethernet cable. So this provides streamlined workflows. It's much easier for the people to implement, as well as better lifecycle value because you add inputs and outputs to the system over the entire course of its life. Smart commissioning is another great example of streamlined workflows. What we did is we talked to a number of customers about what's involved, both the tasks as well as the deliverables in commissioning a device. You see the before timeline there at the top, where each task or deliverable is listed there as a gray box, and we thought, gray circle, we turn those to automated by making them blue. In version 13, came out with AutoSense, where we could actually wire it up to whatever CHARMS termination and then say, okay, tell me, what is your tag? Oh, FI107. I know exactly all the control strategies that you need to go to. That's called automatic late binding, where we bind the I/O with control strategies. Device configuration is where we automatically send down the latest and greatest configuration for each device automatically. In version 14, we've added automated testing to do the loop check, and then documenting the results of that loop testing to further reduce the effort that the person has to do. Going from 140 minutes down to 10 minutes, so that is more than a 10x improvement. Now, as Jamie mentioned, this is great technology, but you have to change your work practice to take advantage of it. If you keep doing things the old way, you won't get those benefits. The streamlined workflows and integrated by design because it touches on the control values, the asset management values, all that coming together in the system. Now let's move up to the controller and communications layer with the Delta V PK controller. The Delta V PK controller has a very unique duality in how it behaves. Powerful standalone, easily integrated. What do I mean by that, powerful standalone? From its inception, the Delta V PK controller was designed to take advantage of the skids and modular construction that we see more in the industry today, It can run there at the skid builder's location, completely headless, or with a local operator interface if you like. All the checkouts done there. When it ships to plant, it can remain a standalone controller if you like, as shown on the far left. But just as easily, it can become part of a small Delta V system by adding a Delta V workstation to that PK for maybe a balance of plant application. And furthermore, it can join the larger integrated Delta V system that's running the entire production facility. So it has that duality of both, it works great standalone, even headless, but it integrates very, very easily with a merge function into the Delta V system. No more mapping of the PLC data that people had to do historically. We didn't stop there. We also added a OPC UA server embedded into the firmware of the PK so that we can support Internet of Things strategies that customers want to do. And it has direct Ethernet device connectivity via standard protocols, again, so that people can take advantage of open standards and bring them right into our system very easily and smoothly and have it still integrated well with the engineering workstation, the operator workstation, and everything else. So IoT ready and integrated by design are the two big ones on the PK. Delta V Live operator interface. Three things I'd like to leave you with is it's a modern, has a fantastic operations experience, and it's easy, both for operators as well as for engineers. Well, first let me talk about modern. It is the first HMI for the process industries built entirely on the HTML5 standard. Okay, this is the standard which enables graphic representations on a wide variety of hardware platforms securely. Second is that we took advantage of much of the research being done in human-centered design, both at universities as well as the Center for Operator Performance Consortium. And a lot of that information was then rolled into creating this great operations experience through high-performance graphic elements, or GEMs, as well as things as simple as making the entire layout a very simple drag-and-drop exercise for each operator to do. Easy, things can be super easy for the operator, because if he's got a trouble or problem that he's trying to troubleshoot, he can take what's called a snippet. He can just take and grab a part of this display and lay it over on top of another display while he's working a problem that involves information from two graphics. Doesn't have to talk to the engineer, do that all by himself for a temporary situation. Easy for the engineer, things like the display hierarchy is built into the system, and it's just, you just have to populate which display goes where, but that whole hierarchical navigation is done for you. Second is class-based editing. This will actually save thousands of hours over the course. When you have a gem or a graphic element that you have and you need to change how that behaves, you can have it just on the one instance or for the entire class throughout the entire system. Very, very helpful. So Delta V Live really also provides expertise on demand. You see the video chat there in the middle where it enables people to bring in an additional expert to help them troubleshoot a problem. The security is built in, integrated by design. It knows everything about the configuration database from Delta V. And Delta V Mobile. Now Delta V Mobile is a product that needs to serve many different people. As you see here, process engineer, plant manager, the safety engineer, they have different questions or different needs in terms of what information they want out of the system. Well, because Delta V Mobile is also integrated by design, you don't have to do all this mapping from the DCS database. Delta V Mobile already knows everything about the entire configuration. In fact, you don't have to touch the Delta V configuration for it to access it. Each person then just selects what information is relevant and pertinent to my job, and do I want push notifications or do I want it on demand when I ask for it? Okay? It can be done via Wi-Fi locally in the plant, or it can be done via VPN across the internet if you so choose. It is read-only so that they cannot make any changes to the system. All right? And now Delta V Mobile obviously supports mobility strategies that people have, as well as IIoT. It doesn't do any good to have the Internet of Things if the people can't get to it. And what does everybody have? A mobile phone. And that's where they want that information served up to them much more easily than in the past. So that's a very quick run through of some of the big projects in Delta V version 14. I do just want to highlight on the cybersecurity thing up at the top. We believe will be the first system that will be ISA, SSA Secure Level 1 on a system basis, certified when that ships. So we put a lot of investment into our work practices to follow the IEC 62443 standard in everything that we do as we develop this system. Nothing can be more important. We hear that from Jamie, from David Farr, and everybody else down the management team, that is job number one. There are a number of other items. Again, if I catch you later today, please talk to me about some of the new function blocks, simulation enhancements, other great stuff in version 14. We believe it's the most modern, secure, IoT-ready automation system we've ever put out. Jamie?
Dave? Appreciate it. I wish we had more time because, as Dave said, it is the largest Delta V version we've ever released, and we believe it's going to be the most impactful. There's over 30 different features that are in this version. We look forward to spending time with each of you, going into more detail on all the different features and functions of this Delta V system. I also want to talk to you, though, today about performance services. As I mentioned earlier, the survey we did said that the challenges to operational efficiency, company culture, lack of clear business strategy, and knowing which technology will deliver measurable improvement are among the highest responses that we got back. It's not always just about the technology. There's a certain process expertise that's required. There is certain help that our customers are looking for in order to implement these capabilities or to keep their workforce skilled and ready to do the work at hand. So what we've done is Emerson, historically, if you look back in the 13, 14, 15, we had some of these capabilities. We could do some loop tuning, we could do advanced process control, we could do some operator training simulation, some alarm management, but we mostly focused on our control system, and we didn't have the capability that I felt we need to have to help our customers solve the problems of today and tomorrow. So we've acquired, in May of 2017, Mina Technologies, which is a highly regarded OTS platform that we have a lot of experience working with. We acquired ProSys, which is a company that is focused on alarm management, high performance graphics. They also do some work around advanced process control and control strategy optimization. And then just this morning, we announced the alliance with AspenTech, which I'll speak a little bit more about shortly. In parallel to building out a more capable performance service businesses that does not just focus on our control system installed base, this service capability will be for any customer that has any type of control system. That's very important. We don't want customers to have to only choose from the vendor they're working with on the control system to get these benefits. We built out a tool capability around a cloud-hosted engineering environment where initially you could do configuration work to where we can now offer it as software as a service and can post your configuration for you. So if you would like to simulate your advanced control methodologies or your alarm management methodologies before you put them into practice, we give you another tool and another way to do that. So I just want to mention we built out this performance service cable. A lot of investments been made here, as you can see, 2 acquisitions and now an alliance. But the AspenTech Alliance is not just about performance services. The AspenTech Alliance is about one very simple thing. It is bringing together best-in-class level 3 software, asset performance management software, and a variety of different services that we offer together that are very complementary to our customers. We do not want our customers to have to go to multiple vendors to get best in class across these categories. So we are partnering together in the areas of simulation, advanced process control, and asset performance management initially, leveraging Emerson's consulting performance and engineering services capability. This is day 1 of the announcement of the Alliance. There'll be lots of questions. We look forward to talking to you about it. We have tremendous opportunity to really change the way our customers consume these services and softwares so they're easier to implement. That is the key. We want to make the control system and the software and the services that we offer easier for our customers to take advantage of so they can break down the barriers to top quartile performance and achieve their goals. So, thank you. That's all the time that we have for today. We really appreciate everyone coming, and we look forward to spending more time with all of you over the coming days, weeks, and months. Thank you.